Stop being selfish. Your sister's twins need a bigger yard, my mother said, resting her hand on the for sale sign she had just planted in my front lawn. I didn't answer. I couldn't. I was still trying to process what she meant by put it up for sale next week. I raised you here, I whispered. You're selling my house? It's our house, my brother-in-law chimed in smugly. And since you're single, we can just convert the garage into a studio. It'll be cozy, right, babe? My sister giggled and clung to his arm like a trophy. I blinked slowly. My name was the only one on the deed. I had paid the taxes. I had fought the bank during the recession. I'd even refinanced to help my parents stay afloat.
But now?
Now they were cutting me out like dead weight. That night, I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I opened my laptop, opened my safe, and opened every document they thought I'd forgotten existed.
Tax forms.
Emails. A signed agreement. Audio recordings. It was all there. They thought I'd just go quietly into the garage. But I had other plans. And the first step was to make a few quiet calls to people who knew what to do with fraud. The next morning, I greeted them all with coffee, just like old times. My sister, still in pajamas, scrolled on her phone, barking orders about moving the kids' playpen to the backyard. Oh, and tell the agent to make it fast. We want to close before the new year. My mom looked up from her tablet. The garage needs cleaning. You'll start sleeping there this weekend. I smiled. Of course. What they didn't know was that I had already filed an emergency freeze on the property through my lawyer that morning. Thanks to that little agreement Dad had signed 6 years ago when I bailed him out of bankruptcy, I was the sole legal owner of the house. Every penny they put into it afterward was a gift. Every improvement? Logged under my name. I walked out back where my brother-in-law was measuring the yard. We're thinking of extending the patio. Add a fire pit. Your sister wants a swing set too. Sounds great, I said flatly. He laughed. Honestly, you should be grateful we're keeping you around. I nodded. Grateful? Oh, I'd show them gratitude. The kind that arrived in envelopes. From lawyers.
With deadlines.
They just didn't know yet. But they would very soon. By Tuesday, the real estate agent came by, a peppy woman in heels, overly enthusiastic about maximizing curb appeal. She walked through my house like it was already someone else's. My mother followed close behind, nodding along, pointing at walls she wanted knocked down. Of course, we'll repaint this beige, she said, tapping the entryway. It's too depressing. I like that color, I said softly. The agent blinked. Oh, are you the tenant? My brother-in-law snorted. Before I could answer, my sister called out from the kitchen. Don't mind her. She just lives here. You'll deal with us. And right then, something inside me snapped, but in the coldest, most satisfying way. The next day, the for sale sign went up. And by nightfall, it was back down. Because while they were busy rearranging furniture and dreaming about renovations, I handed my attorney the notarized deed and an official cease and desist. They got the letter Thursday morning. I was making tea when my mother stormed in, red-faced. You filed what? Are you trying to ruin us? I sipped calmly.
No, Mom.
I'm protecting what's mine. She opened her mouth to yell again, but her phone buzzed. And whatever she saw on that screen made her sit down, speechless. My mother stared at the message on her screen as if it had personally slapped her. She didn't speak, didn't blink. My sister came rushing in from the car, waving her phone.
Mom.
Why is the listing gone? The agent said you canceled the sale. I didn't, she snapped, pointing at me. She did something. I didn't flinch. I simply walked over to the coffee table and placed the documents down, highlighted, tabbed, and legal. You never owned this house, I said evenly. Grandpa left it to me in his will 10 years ago. Dad was just the executor. It was transferred to my name when I turned 21. You just never bothered to read the paperwork. My brother-in-law scoffed. You think a piece of paper scares us? I smiled.
No.
But the restraining order does. And so does the fraud complaint if you try to enter again. They stood frozen. I had never raised my voice. Never fought back. I had always said, okay, stepped aside, been quiet. But not anymore. You're bluffing, my sister hissed. I stepped forward, pulled up the time-stamped emails from my lawyer, and watched her face change in slow motion. That's when the doorbell rang. And what waited outside was the final crack in their plan. My mom opened the door, expecting sympathy, maybe the family lawyer she could manipulate. Instead, 2 uniformed officers stood tall, one with a folder in hand. "Ma'am, are you Mrs. Tessa Morgan?" one of them asked calmly. She nodded slowly, her voice caught in her throat. "You've been served. There's an official trespass warning and cease and desist order filed under your daughter's property. You're not permitted to enter, modify, or list the premises for sale." My sister stormed forward. "She's our daughter. That's our house." The second officer raised a hand.
No, ma'am.
"Legally, it hasn't been yours for nearly a decade. We've verified the deed and inheritance records. Any further attempt to interfere with the property will result in criminal charges." I stayed quiet as they processed the truth. My mother's eyes filled with something unfamiliar, doubt. And my sister? Her face twisted in rage, but behind it, I saw the unraveling, the math not matching, the dream slipping. "You had all this planned?" she asked, voice shaking. I looked her dead in the eye.
No.
"I just finally used the silence you forced on me to learn." They left red-faced, whispering among themselves. But what I didn't know then was that silence wasn't done teaching me yet. The quiet that followed was deceptive, like the eye of a storm. For 2 weeks, no calls, no drama. I thought they'd accepted defeat. Until one morning, a soft knock interrupted my coffee. A courier. Manila envelope. No return address. Inside was a will. My father's. But not the version we were shown after his death. This one had my name on it. Clearly. Repeatedly. All assets, including the house and adjoining properties, are to be left to my daughter, Ivy Morgan. Her education, independence, and resilience shall be rewarded fully. My chest tightened. He knew. He saw me. But why had no one ever told me? The signature was real. Verified, notarized. I reached out to an old contact, one of Dad's law firm partners, and within hours, he confirmed what I feared. The will had been swapped. The original one had vanished just days before the reading. Quietly. Illegally. And who had access? My mother and my sister, both listed as temporary custodians of Dad's affairs after his stroke. I wasn't furious. Not yet. Because a plan began to form, not for revenge, but for truth in public. And I knew just the date and the stage for it. New Year's Eve. The same night they had tried to move me into a garage. I didn't scream. I didn't warn them. I simply prepared. The venue was already booked, a grand hall where our extended family always hosted New Year's Eve. My name had never once been on the guest list. Until now. This year, I sponsored the event anonymously. My conditions? A private tribute segment for our late father and an unveiling. My lawyer, Mr. Dwyer, agreed to fly in. He was Dad's closest confidant and the only one who had seen both versions of the will. He'd held a scanned copy on his private server, time-stamped, irrefutable. I didn't tell Mom or my sister I'd be attending. I didn't tell them anything. But I did send the event program to every family member. They'd see my name when they arrived, listed under special dedication guest. When I walked into the room, heads turned. My mother froze mid-toast, champagne glass trembling. My sister's husband whispered something, but she didn't move. She just stared like she'd seen a ghost. I took the mic gently, smiled. This year, I'd like to honor the man who believed in me, even when everyone else forgot I existed. Behind me, the screen flickered to life. The will appeared, and then the courtroom subpoena. The room didn't breathe. Projected on the massive screen was my father's real will, the one they thought they destroyed. My voice stayed calm. This document was signed and notarized 1 week before my father passed. It states that the house, the land, and the business assets go to his daughter, me. My mother's face drained white. My sister stood up and shouted, "This is fake. She's lying. Daddy would never." but Mr. Dwyer stepped forward. I handled your father's estate. He came to me the day after your daughter kicked him out of the hospital room for asking about finances.
Gasps.
He handed certified copies to the judge. Yes, I had invited a judge and announced legal enforcement was already in motion. I'd also like to share one last thing, I said, clicking to the final slide. It was a security photo. My sister forging my father's signature, while my mother looked on. The audience erupted. And just like that, they were no longer the ones in control. Their bank accounts were frozen. The house was mine. The yard they wanted to take. I donated it to build a safe haven for single mothers. As for them, they can improvise a room in each other's guilt.